protect you.
By the way, in all fairness, I get something else from what Honorable Leung said, as if why you came here or why don't you get. What I got is that if that system was so good, not go back, but why did you leave it and come here? So there must have been something wrong there. You know, that's I think what I got from you. Nothing, because I've been told the same thing many times. In earlier years, like 50 years ago, anything I would say, people would say, if you don't like it, get back to where you came from. That was a very common thing. But what I get, you know, in the context of the way that you said was that if that system that you are defending it, and of course one of them was my own sister, the lady, is that why did you then not stay there and choose to come here? So that's what I thought, you know.
Well, you could also, I mean, you could also take the step and say, if you want to fight for democracy in Iran, you could fight for it inside Iran, or you could fight for it inside Taiwan, you know, or you could fight for it inside China. You have, you know, you have those ability to do that, you know. But you see, as all human beings, you know, we look after our ability for self-preservation first. I mean, if you're not safe, then why would you, you know, you cannot achieve half the things that you can achieve. So therefore, you have to leave, you know, Iran, you have to leave, you know, Saudi Arabia in order to expose those, you know, dirty deeds. Because if you don't leave there, you don't dare say anything when you're in Tehran. So as journalists, the only way that you do this is to leave the country to expose that. And that's, and Canada provides you that safe haven to do it. But you know, the fact that Canada cannot, you know, I mean, there's just 55 million people in Tehran, right? 55?
80 million.
Oh, 80 million. You know, like I said, we are a generous country. We bring in 250,000 people a year. You know, 80 million people, even if 1% want to apply, that's still 800,000 people a year. We cannot handle that type of numbers.
And believe me, anyone I see there wants to come to Canada. I mean, even when I went there, girls of 19 wanted to get married to me just to come here.
Yeah, and the other thing too is that, you know, it's not that we haven't tried. When we closed down the embassy in Tehran, and this is, you know, it happened. I mean, it's unfortunate because of national policy. We moved it first we moved to Beirut, and then Beirut has civil war, and then we moved it to Damascus. Damascus has civil war, and then now we move it to Ankara. I was in Yerevan, in Armenia, and I said, oh, maybe Yerevan is closer to Iran. You know, was it possible? But Yerevan is not a big enough country yet for us to put it there. Whereas in Ankara it is. But you see, I mean, and we can argue that Turkey is not a country that is totally on side as Canada in terms of support for Israel, but yet we, you know, we want to have a presence in the Middle East because we want to serve the people from the Middle East, and that you know, that could be from Afghanistan all the way over to North Africa. So these are the issues that we have to deal with.
I have also a question. Maybe I should move and go and sit there and ask you, or maybe from here.
That's matter.
My question.
You want to answer, sir?
I sit there and ask the question, or you have a question?
I have a question.
Please.
Yes.
Dr. Leung, you keep repeating that we are free to leave. This really bothers me. You have the impression I am a guest here. This is my home. For this kind of thing, I fight with the government. I go to vote.
You
I fight.
absolutely can't fight for the government. I feel the same way. For the first 20 years of living in Canada, I feel I'm a guest. Today, to this day, I still recognize the fact that I am a guest. That's why I said, you know, after being a Canadian citizen for over 40 plus years, I still feel like a guest because there are many things in this society that has not quite meet my expectation of what it is to be a Canadian citizen. I mean, the fact that, you know, that I'm a member of Parliament is not, I mean, I'm still looked upon as a person that has not been here still as an outsider. Chinese immigration in Canada has been here since 1860, over 100 some odd years. Most Chinese, you ask them, including those that are born, will still say, I feel like I'm a guest in this country. Because this country, for its longest time, for over 600 years, is an Anglo-French country. Yes, I'm glad that you feel like you're Canadian. I'm glad that you're staying here. And that is good. Maybe you can use your voice to help those people in Tehran, those people in Iran.
Then don't tell me I am free to leave.
Well, I'm just telling you very clearly to note in certain terms that this is a free country and you can go and come as you please.
No, I feel obliged to leave when my safety is endangered. As long there is the democracy that I believe there is in Canada, it's like you say, is an officer, traffic officer, give me a wrong ticket. If I contest, he can tell me, if you're not happy, go home. No, I go to court and I win. And this is why here, and I said, I am a Vilo del resident. It means I have the power power to put you in retired or to continue. It's why I'm here.
Absolutely.
And the way that you answer the question, I want to say, it used to be in Canada some values, human rights values, it was above politics.
Let me tell you, you are better in Canada today than you were here 10, 20, or 30 years ago.
Don't tell me, it's more than 20 years I'm here, but I see the changes. But what I see, whatever Canadian government, the conservative Canadian government is doing with Iran is not for the well-being of Iranian here or Iranian there. This is the politic, unconditional support of Israel. I had discussion before that. When they said Arabic Gulf, it's not they don't want to bother us or Iranian power, but it's only to make happy Israel. And we talked, we had this discussion. And this is what bothers us.
Why not?
We said,
it is the only country in the Middle East that is a prime shining example of what a democracy is.
I am not saying against that. I believe this is a very democratic country.
But then why do you share our values?
No, what it bothers me, I said, let's keep Canada as a country who keep peace, who makes peace, and it doesn't go to war.
That is such an unrealistic, naive thinking.
But this is what it used to be Canada, innocent country. Canada is following exactly United States and all other countries.
And why
the
not?
reason, I wasn't a refugee, I didn't have any problem to stay in other countries. I came here, when I came in Canada, I wanted to visit for 2 weeks.
Yes.
As soon as I arrived in the airport, I said, this country is different.
Yes.
I talked to the staff who, for the luggage. I talked to the officer. I talked to the people. I said, this country is different. It's why I stay. And now I'm going to stay, and I feel the obligation to make understand to people that they think that I am a guest, that I am not. And I fight to make it what you think is naive.
You can certainly have that choice. It is a free country. You can elect Mr. Assasi here.
He has already my vote.
He may be a better parliamentarian than I will be.
As long as he continues to respect the values of Canada.
Sure.
Yes.
That's a free country.
I have a question.
Yes,
Should I
go
go, let's sit there or ask you from here?
You can ask anybody.
Okay, because it's an informal. Honorable Leung, as you know, the office of the consulate of the Iranian government was closed since I guess about 4 or 5 years ago. And at the time they said that this was the office was doing something with regards of attracting terrorism and influencing the people around. But recently a report came which was printed in the Toronto Star so that the information that was given to the government and on the conservative government, and on that basis they acted to close the consulate office. The information has not been valid. Have you read that report, by the way? And it was very much exaggerated. No. What has happened, this is concerning many thousands of Iranians, including myself. I have still some ties in Iran. And when I want to get one letter stamped to give a power of attorney to someone there, I have now, because there is no office here, I have to go either personally to Washington, D.C., which because of my writing, I don't go to the United States for a long time. I don't think I'm welcome there. And another thing that it costs very expensive. A ticket going one day and coming back ends up to be about $1,000.
Yes.
So I have spent about $3,000 during the last 2 years for just getting a few signatures, stamps, and now being that far away, each stamp costs $191.
Yes.
And I have to pay another $100 and some for the envelope to go there with DHL and come back. So all Iranians added probably at least $10 million has gone out of the pockets of Canadians,
Yes.
Iranians, for this purpose of not having an office here.
Yes.
So I want to ask you, and that's what I'm going to write actually an offer letter to you, that please, maybe double check them and see who is sitting in that office to be that it's a safe office, only for the purpose of doing the consulate work. We need it really.
Lieutenant, there are many ways to address this. I mean, if you look at the situation in Taiwan, although against they set up a Taipei Economic and Cultural Office to handle this, so that there's no official political recognition in all this. What I have suggested to John Baer, the minister, is I said we can do one or two things. We can either use the Office of Iran Air to be the office, or we can set up a travel office. The tourism office of Iran to
Don't you need
handle.
for documents to be stamped?
No, but the documents can be done here as a quasi-diplomatic thing. I mean, we could even go and negotiate an honorary council. Someone who has
Many countries have it.
Yeah, many countries have it. Costa Rica has it. Burma has it, and so on. You have an honorary council. That would be the right decision to move. And I think if we can achieve a type of more peace, like more, if we can actually sit down and open up a dialogue with Iran on this, and either through the office in Washington D.C. or through the office in the United Kingdom in London, that is possible. And I
go to those countries. Many people don't even have visas. The newcomers don't have visas.
No. We talk to those offices to ask them to use it because right now we don't have a place where we can sit face to face with the Iranian government. So we can do it through the UN, we can do it through Washington D.C., or we can do it in London to have that discussion. It is similar to the situations on how the United States need to renegotiate their relationship with Cuba, because it was done here in Canada. So we need a third country that both sides can feel comfortable with to have that discussion. But that dialogue needs to be initiated.
It's been long for a long time. It's costing a lot for the Iranian public, and believe me, I tell you from now, if you take a step on that, you will become very more popular with the Iranians.
Yeah, so those are the things I'm suggesting, if I can, when I speak to John Baer. He sits 2 seats in front of me. The other thing that can happen too is that I know when the TV bank closed down, and I think the World Bank closed down, it was very difficult for Iranians to put money, and bring their money to North America. Well, the Korean banks and the Japanese banks and the Chinese banks and the German banks are prepared to do that right now. So again, this is a discussion that is an ongoing discussion that we need to, we need to have a place where there is an interface on both sides, and that it is not, it doesn't end up in a stalemate, because the current situation is not serving anybody. And I'm fully aware of that.
No,